The Humboldt Schools, motivating achievement since 1906.
Welcome to the November edition of the Humboldt Experience. I am Dan Streeter, the proud superintendent of the Humboldt Unified School District, and we have a great show for you this month. I have some outstanding students in studio with me today. We're going to be talking about the career fair that recently took place, in which we had our middle school students and our high school students connect with some area professionals. So great guest with us today. We're going to talk about career fair, talk about school, talk about the future for our students as they move forward. But before we jump into our guests, we need to recognize a couple of VIPs who were recognized at our October board meeting for the great work that they do in the Humboldt Unified School District. October saw us at Glassford Hill Middle School. We had the opportunity to recognize three outstanding individuals. The first one was Mr. Jose Rosario, and Mr. Rosario is a special education teacher at Glassford Hill Middle School, and he's one of those guys that is always smiling, positive with both the staff and the students. He comes to work not because he has to, but because he wants to make a difference. Mr. Rosario is a former Forest Service worker who retired from the service and is now making teaching his second career. He has taught for the Department of Corrections, he's taught at Mingus Mountain Girls Academy, and he's now in his second year at Glassford Hill Middle School as a 7th grade co-taught resource teacher. Mr. Rosario, well, he's a ninja at getting the kids to learn in fun and creative ways while holding them to high expectations and making learning fun. He's firm yet fair, and his students respect and adore him. If you visit Mr. Rosario's room, you'll likely see a skit. You'll see students wearing costumes and hats to pull them into whatever their learning is for that day. Mr. Rosario is by definition an HUSD VIP, and he models these values daily as a professional. It's a true blessing for our students and staff to work with Mr. Rosario. For our classified staff of the month, we were able to recognize longtime employee Mrs. Ann Carey. Ann is the K12 Library Coordinator for the Humboldt Unified School District, and Glassford Hill is privileged to have her on their campus as their librarian. It's her tireless dedication to the Humboldt schools and the community, which is why she makes a perfect HUSD VIP. Ann is in her 24th year in working in the district, working with our libraries and helping students to appreciate and experience the love of reading. In addition, some of Mrs. Carey's responsibilities on campus include the annual book fair, being a member of the Red Ribbon Week Committee. She teaches an I Choose elective class on campus, which is the book club. She manages several different fundraisers, is responsible for the Reading Counts program at Glassford Hill, inventories and tracks all technology, textbooks, etc. on the campus, and one of those people that makes sure that the library is always an open and welcoming place for her students, whether it's before school, after school, or at lunch. We're privileged to have such a wonderful staff member that cares so deeply for the school and her students. Thank you, Ann, for all that you do. Thank you for your years of service to our schools and throughout the community. And finally, we're able to recognize our HUSD Volunteer VIP. And it's a challenge at the middle school level when you look at parent volunteers. A lot of times, good-hearted parents stop by for a year or two, and then their students move on to the high school and the parents move on to the high school. Our HUSD Volunteer VIP for the month of October is a person whose daughter no longer attends Glassford Hill. She's moved on to the high school, but this individual has found a home working and volunteering at Glassford to make it a great place for both the staff and students for years to come. Mrs. Robin Rojas, we thank you for your service. In the short tenure, Mrs. Rojas has done some amazing things at Glassford Hill Middle School. She's created flexible seating think rooms. She's forged community relationships for the middle school as with Goodwill of Prescott Valley, Scrubs for Less, Peter Piper Pizza. She's helped organize weekly Snack Shack fundraisers. She's increased the PTO membership and has vendors that are working on staff and student spirit gear. Currently planning a day of service for Glassford Hill that includes a donation drive, a blood drive, and a habitat beautification day. A person with a volunteer's heart and spirit needs to be celebrated, and it was our privilege to honor Mrs. Robin Rojas at the October board meeting. She is a valued member of the Glassford Hill family and a fine example of an HUSD volunteer. Now, let's get into today's show. As promised, I have some outstanding young people with me today. We're going to talk career fair. The career fair just took place. This was the 3rd annual career fair for the district. This was in conjunction with the Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce. We were able to bring in 13 different professionals from around the community and connect them with our students. I'd like to start with 2 of our students who attended the career fair with us. We have Nathan and Lily with me. Thank you both for coming on the show today. I appreciate you guys being here. And now, Nathan, I'm going to start with you. Nathan, for our viewers, can you just tell, what grade are you in? What school do you go to?
I'm in 8th grade and I go to Glassford Hill.
You go to Glassford Hill Middle School, and you were able to go to the career fair.
Yeah.
Now, what's neat about this career fair is you get to pick the sessions that you want to go to. What were the sessions that you attended at the career fair?
I went to law enforcement, construction, and engineering.
Okay, so those sound like pretty good opportunities. Law enforcement, construction, engineering, 3 pretty different career fields. Now, let's talk about which of those 3 would you say was your favorite session that you went to?
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement. Okay, I'm going to come back to you in just a minute. Now, Lily, you also got to go to the career fair. Now, what grade and what school do you go to, Lily?
I go to Bradshaw Mountain Middle School, and I'm in 8th grade.
Okay, 8th grader at Bradshaw Mountain Middle School. And Lily, what sessions did you get to go to?
I went to law enforcement, and entrepreneurship.
So, great. So law enforcement, entrepreneurship. And what would you say was your favorite session?
I don't know. I liked them all, but I think law was the most interesting.
Yeah, you had a pretty good presenter. Mr. Kelly is a local attorney in town, and he did the law presentation. Now, what's unique about our career fair, as I was mentioning, when I was in school, when we went to a career fair, we all went to a gym, and there were a bunch of tables set up around the gym of professions, and we walked around and we got a flyer from each of those professions, and then on our way out the gym, most of us, because we were young kids, threw our flyers away and didn't really get a whole lot out of the career fair. But we've actually partnered with the Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce to do this a little bit different. As you heard Nathan and Lily mention, they got to sign up for specific sessions that they wanted to go to. They signed up for 4 sessions. They got to go to, as Nathan said, law, construction, and engineering. Lily got to go to law enforcement, the entrepreneurship. Both of them attended the medical professions session. That session was actually made available to all of our students. But they were able to spend 30 minutes in each of these sessions to really get down to some of the specific information they wanted, something that was a little bit different. Now, Nathan, you mentioned your favorite session, but what was something that stuck out to you during the career fair? What was something that you're going to remember?
I learned that there are more engineers than different types of engineers than I thought there were.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because I think that a lot of kids want to grow up to be engineers. They don't realize all the different areas that you can go into. So how about you, Lily? What was something that stuck out to you?
The law enforcement thing, I thought it was very interesting that the academy that you go to is meant to put you under a lot of stress.
Yeah, pretty neat. And of course, the academy is right by one of our schools, so we get a lot of those academy students eat lunch actually at the high school. That's where they get their meals. They do a lot of classroom training at your school, at Glassford Hill Middle School. So it is meant for kind of those stressful situations. So if you were to sign up again next year, and Nathan, I'll start with you. If you were to sign up again next year, is there another session that you'd like to go to, maybe explore a little bit?
Maybe entrepreneurship.
Yeah, kind of starting your own business, and and that's and Lily, you got to go to that one. Actually, you got to see Mr. Chris Kukino, who used to own Patriot Disposal right here in town. If you could sign up for a session that maybe you missed it this year, but maybe down the road you want to attend, what's another one that you might like to do?
I think I would be interested in going to the military careers. I don't know if I'd actually want to sign up for the military, but I would like to learn more about it.
Yeah, that's
about
good.
Careers in there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think we think military, we think it's something that you sign up for and you do it for a couple of years and then you're out of the military. There's actually a lot of careers in the military that you could do for a long period of time. So, so you guys kind of shared with me your favorite session, although Lily, you kind of liked them all. Something that kind of stuck out to you. As you go into high school, because you're both in 8th grade, so you're going to be going to high school next year, is there information that you learned at the career fair that you think will help you in high school? Think about that. Is there something, Lily, I'll start with you. Is there something that'll help you out in high school?
A lot of the jobs, especially in the medical field, it seemed to me they include physics and physiology, I think is how you pronounce it. And so I would probably want to study those.
That's great, yeah. That's great information too. And as you go through, you know that at Bradshaw you can take physics and you can take anatomy and physiology as well as courses that are available there. Nathan, how about you? What is something that you think you'll be able to use?
For all of them, I learned what grades I'll need to get in high school to, because in construction, you don't even need to go to college, but you should get good grades in high school.
Yeah, actually they talked a lot about that, the importance of grades. Middle school is really set up to prepare you for high school, right? But high school counts. Those grades count and those grades go with you. And I heard one of the presenters said, remember, nobody out there wants to hire a C student. They want to hire A and B students. So I thought that was one of the neat things that I heard from that session. Overall, did you guys feel that the career fair was a good day, that you learned a lot and will help you in the future?
Yes, I think I learned a lot about the careers that I learned about.
Okay, and how about you, Lily?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of good information.
Now, are either one of you in AVID at your schools?
Yeah.
Yes.
So both of you are in AVID, and AVID is a college readiness program that we have at our middle schools and the high school. It's an opportunity for some high achieving students attend this elective class, and it helps support them in study skills and preparing for college and preparing for career. And really, I think AVID really fits right in line with what the career fair was and what both of you guys have talked about going to high school. So I'd certainly encourage you both to stay in AVID. I think it'll be very beneficial to you. I want to thank you both for participating in the career fair. I hope that you guys had a good time. It sounds like that you did. And I'm hoping that somewhere down the road you guys can come back to the career fair as well in the future. Now we have, for our viewers, we have a couple of pictures from the career fair. And I think it's important as you're looking at these pictures, there were several different sessions that we had available for our students, from education, law, law enforcement, entrepreneurship, fire science, medical. We had a session on fine and performing arts, engineering, military careers, finance and banking, construction, and pharmacy. And really what we wanted to do is give our students a wide variety of opportunities, wide variety of presenters where they could hear about what a future might look like from people that are right here in our community. So again, I want to thank Nathan and Lily for being on the show today. And now we're going to bring on two additional guests. They're going to talk about their experiences as well. So two more students that attended the career fair and can speak to those opportunities. I have Lucas here now. Lucas, you are also an 8th grader. And what school do you attend, Lucas?
Liberty Traditional School.
So Liberty Traditional. So we had Glassford, Bradshaw Middle, Liberty Traditional. Yeah. And what sessions did you get to attend?
I attended the education session, the writing session, and the
Entrepreneurship, yes. Okay,
yeah.
Great. And then, of course, you started your day in the medical professions.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite session that you went to?
The entrepreneurship, because I really want to start my own business.
Yeah, it's kind of find something that you're passionate about and kind of go through that process. So, and you had Mr. Kukino was the presenter for entrepreneurship. Now, whether that session or a different session, what was something that you heard at the career fair that really stuck with you, that you thought, man, that's good information, I need to remember that, or that was really interesting?
That it's really hard to start your own company, because he had said that he had made 2 companies, but they failed, and then it's just really hard.
So persistence, you need to kind of persevere, because it is hard. I think a lot of small businesses will fail, and I think it's important that as students and as small business owners, just because a business fails doesn't mean that we're a failure. It just means that we had a failed venture, we learn from it, and we grow from there, right? So I'm glad that you heard that, and I think it sounds like we probably had the perfect person to talk about entrepreneurship, because Mr. Kukino is also very, his last business was very successful, and he grew it from 1 truck to
many.
Well, Patriot Disposal now. We all know who Patriot is. Now, you're getting ready to go to high school next year. You're obviously a good student. You've been to the career fair. Are there things from the career fair that you feel that you'll take with you to high school, things that you'll think about?
The education, because it'll show me that that you need to learn with the classes that you get, and it's not just like you're just going to classes, like you actually need to focus on them and learn from them.
Hey, man, Lucas, I think you nailed it. It's school isn't just a checkbox thing.
Yeah.
You're going to get out of school what you put into school, and if you can go into school knowing that there's skills that I can acquire here, I think you're going to be very successful. So I think you have the right attitude. I'm glad you were at the career fair.
Thanks.
And I think you're going to do great things. Now, Shane, your story is a little bit different.
A little bit.
Not a middle schooler. You're a high schooler.
Senior, Bradford Mountain High School.
And you weren't at this career fair.
No.
But you were at the previous 2 career fairs.
Yeah.
So you've kind of heard these guys' experience this year, and you went through that. Talk a little bit about your experience at the career fair over the last couple of years.
Well, my first year I went was my sophomore year, and that's kind of when they were getting it off the ground, getting everything going, so there were less career options to explore. But it was still kind of a neat opportunity, because never before had you had so many individuals from your own community who can impart knowledge on you about careers in one place. So it was kind of eye-opening to see how many different careers there really are. And then when I went back my junior year, they had more individuals from the community there, more options. The one that sticks out in my mind was journalism. They had sports journalism.
Right.
And that was my favorite, because I'm into sports, and I just remember sitting through each session and thinking, that's a possibility, or not really my thing. And it really just helped me narrow down what I want to do as I go through high school.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. I think one of the purposes of the career fair is as you sit in those sessions, we certainly want you to identify something that you really like and think, boy, that is a possibility. But equally important is sit through a session and say, I don't want to do that. I always tell people, I think I want to be an engineer. I go to the engineering session. I decide I don't want to be an engineer. That's a good thing, because I just saved a lot of money in college that I would have spent going down a career path that I didn't want to do. So, and I think that's kind of the purpose here. Now, it's been a year, but obviously you mentioned journalism. What were some of the sessions that you did have an opportunity to attend? Do you remember back these last couple of years?
I did law enforcement. Dad's a police officer, so I wanted to find out what that's about. I did law, military careers, journalism, and then there was a architecture.
Oh, that's right.
I did that.
Okay.
That was the one I kind of said, no, not for me.
Yeah, good. That's great, though. What a great opportunity.
Yeah.
So, some of these things have stuck with you. You've probably heard some good advice in those sessions. Talk a little bit about how maybe the career fair shaped your high school experience. Did it lead to maybe you signing up for different classes? Talk about how that's impacted you.
Well, I knew from the beginning, like going into the career fair, I wasn't going to find every single job that there was to discover. But I knew that in the broad categories, law enforcement, I could find things out about what I needed in high school if that's what I wanted. And you have your core classes, your English, your math, but there are the other classes like, let's say, economy. If I want to be an entrepreneur, if I want to start my own business, obviously I want to take economics, and that's something that they imparted on me. There are certain classes that you need to take if you want to go to a specific field. If I want to be an entrepreneur, I don't really need to take anatomy as much as I need to take economics. So the biggest part of that was just they narrowed down the specific electives and the specific classes beyond your core classes that you could take, so I wasn't wasting my time taking a class I didn't have any business doing.
Maybe give you a little more direction as you're going through that selection process. Now, you're in your senior year, of course, and because I know you and I know that you're an outstanding student, I know that you have plans after high school. Share with our viewers a little bit about what your plans after high school are.
Well, degree-wise, I am thinking psychology. It's a broad field. There's more specifically criminal psychology. That's something the law and law enforcement imparted on me. But I've applied to all the in-state schools. Scholarships are coming in now, and I'm just waiting to find out where baseball takes me to select that final college. But I'm leaning in-state and I'm leaning psychology, so hopefully all works out well.
That's great. It sounds like you were able to use some information from the career fair, kind of helped.
Yeah.
And it sounds like in your case probably helped solidify some things with career paths, as well as different classes that you took at the high school that really sparked your interest. I'm thinking psychology. Now, are you in AP Psych now, or did you take that previously?
I took that previously.
Okay, so you missed Mrs. G.
I missed Mrs. G.
I had to put her back in the classroom because my son's at the high school now. So I get that privilege.
That's good.
So I appreciate your insights into this. So let me ask you this for anybody who's watching, someone like Lucas who's an 8th grader, or maybe somebody who has not gone to the career fair. What advice would you give them as they get ready to come into high school? What's the advice you'd give an incoming freshman?
Well, honestly, do everything you can in high school, because even though it's 4 years, it flies by, and you're going to blink and it's going to be past you, and you're going to wonder, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? So just be prepared, find out every opportunity you can get, go to the career fair, go to college fair, go to sports games, do everything you can, because it flies by, and it's going to be the best 4 years of your life if you make it that way. So.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice. I appreciate your insight on that. You know, we always talk about you're going to get out of your education what you put in, and I think Shane just hit on that perfectly. Is you're going to get out of your high school experience what you choose to do and what you choose to sign up for. Big thank you to Nathan. Big thank you to Lily. Lucas, thank you for being here. Appreciate you sharing your experience with the career fair. Shane, thank you for sharing your past experience with the career fair and then connecting it to what our middle school students are going to be doing in the next couple of years. Appreciate you both being here and being on today's show. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Well,
and for our viewers, just a couple of announcements that we need to cover. It is starting to get chilly out there. Please consider donating any new or gently used jackets, hoodies, winter gloves, and hats to our Family Resource Center. These are distributed to our students who may have a need. And again, we've kind of hit that time of year where there is that need. For drop-off information, you can contact Helene Tanemacher. She is the HUSD Family Resource Specialist, and you can reach her at 759-5104. Also, you heard about it, one of our outstanding volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers in our schools. Fingerprinting service for volunteers takes place Tuesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to noon at the district office. Please consider volunteering. We have lots of opportunities for you. And of course, you can always visit the district website at www.humboldtunified.com for important information regarding both district-wide and school-level events and announcements. Each school also has their own webpage. You can find out about some events taking place on each of our campuses. As we head into November, there's a couple of important dates to remember. November 1st is a Wednesday. It's our regular 1-hour early release. We do have a special governing board meeting as well at 6:30 in the HUSD Transportation Facility. That's on Wednesday, November 1st. I know governing board meetings are typically on a Tuesday. This is a special board meeting. Also in November, we're looking at additional early release dates, as well as the Veterans Day holiday is coming up. Please remember that on November 10th, there will be no school. All offices will be closed. And then on November 14th is our regularly scheduled governing board meeting at Lake Valley Elementary School. Thanksgiving break is coming up on us, November 22nd to the 24th. We will not be in session. School will be out and all of our offices will be closed. And then we'll wind down the month with our last Wednesday 1 hour early release. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Humboldt Experience. It is coming up on tax credit season. Remember, you can give a tax credit to any program within the Humboldt Unified School District, $200 for people filing as a single, $400 if you're doing a joint filing, and those can be dropped off at the district office, and of course call the district office with any further questions. Thank you, have a great November, and we'll see you back here for the December edition of the Humboldt Experience.
The Humboldt Schools, motivating achievement since 1906.